Hi, and welcome back to Small Caps. I'm your host, Jess Furtick, and today it is my absolute pleasure to welcome the man of the moment, Andrew Corbett, who is the Managing Director and CEO of Kingston Resources Limited, which today or recently announced the sale of its Misima gold project in Papua New Guinea for a whopping $95 million. Andrew, congratulations. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jess. Look, fantastic to be back. It's been a long time since we've talked and gone through Kingston, and it's a great day today. So we're delivering value here from this asset, which, in our view, the market wasn't valuing. So, yeah, happy to answer questions.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Andrew, for the interview. It's actually kind of a little bit weird because we have worked together for years.
That's correct.
Just thank you so much for agreeing to do the interview. And since it has been a while that you've been on Small Caps, I thought maybe it might be a good idea just for our Small Caps audience for you just to give a quick recap of the company, its projects, maybe a bit on your background and also the board.
For sure. And so we started Kingston back in 2016. Our mission is to build a gold and copper company. That's our vision. That's what we want to do. We'd like a couple of assets, mid-tier companies, how we talk about it. I'm a mining engineer from Western Australia, so Western Australian School of Mines. And we sort of all got together, the board. So Mick Wilkes is a mining engineer. He was the managing director of Oceana. He's our chairman. He's built 4 gold and copper mines. We've got Stu Reckner on our board as a geologist and a lawyer on our board and been involved in Kingston even longer than I have. And Tony Weeby, he was also came on board in mid 2016, and he's an accountant or finance background, but he's got extensive mining experience as well. So we're very focused on mining and growing and building a mining company. So, we are now starting to explore. In fact, that's one of the exciting things about this transaction. This unlocks our exploration potential because we can drill. But yeah, we're a miner. We want to grow. We want to be on the east coast of Australia, focused on copper and gold and copper, whichever sequence you like. And we think they're very complementary, those two metals, and go well.
Fantastic, Andrew. Now, the company has had such a massive strategic shift, particularly with this transaction. Can you tell us what the main reasons are for Kingston having sold Misima, and walk us through the transaction?
Yeah, so Misima is a very large project. So the capital when we completed the DFS is 476 million right now. That number, as a $75 million company, is too big a reach for us. So we announced a process last year to find a development partner in that, and we've looked at every option from joint venture to sale to partnerships to mergers. Everything is been in the process, and this is where we've landed with Octedi. We think that the Octedi transaction they're the natural owners of this asset. They are a PNG mining company. They are comfortable in the jurisdiction. They have the ability to grow this asset faster than anybody, and they'll look after the people of Misima. They'll look after the people of PNG. So Kingston shareholders win out of this. The people of Misima win out of this. So that's really important. So, and the detail is, well, the headline number is 95 million. So in terms of value, and we get 95 million, and I do think we will get that over the subsequent years, because Octedi is going to complete. They're very focused on building this thing. It's not like they're a junior company. So we get 50 million up front, which is fantastic on completion. That should happen pretty early in the next quarter or even sooner. So I look forward to that. And then we get another 10 million in 12 months, and that's the only milestone on that one is 12 months. And then we get 10 million at financial investment decision, or when they start breaking ground, doing things. So that's sort of going to play out. That's $60 to $70 million over the next 2 years. And then we get the other 25 in a royalty, which I think is going to be very valuable when this thing's in production. The royalty is worth a lot more than that at the current gold price. So we think this is a fantastic lever to unlock the value in Kingston. We'll have a strong balance sheet. We'll be debt free. And we've got a great project and opportunity in New South Wales. So our focus hasn't changed. It's just a step in our journey towards building this gold and copper company.
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. Now, just going a little bit deeper into, you mentioned clearing some of your debt. So let's talk about the capital allocation of the funds that are coming in. So how will Kingston prioritise? You mentioned the 50 million coming in and then the subsequent 10 and 10. How will it prioritise its spend and allocation of funds? Will it go towards acquisitions, Mineral Hill growth? What can you walk us through that?
Priority right now is Mineral Hill growth. So we want to unlock the value of Mineral Hill and then start to think about those acquisitions that are around us and on the east coast of Australia. So yes, debt reduction. So that'll happen obviously subsequent to completion. So once we've completed, we'll look to pay the debt down. And our debt providers have been fantastic supporters, and I would highly recommend them. So that was Pure Asset Management. So they've been really good for us. And then we're going to drill. We're going to drill underground. We're going to drill on the surface. We're going to drill a number of the targets that we've got in New South Wales, because we've got this fantastic plant that's running at 360,000 tonnes per annum, but is approved for 700,000 tonnes per annum. So the strategy with Mineral Hill is very simple: increase our tonnes, expand the plant, double the production. And how quickly that happens, obviously over the next 2 or 3 years, or earlier if we can, but that's the priority with the funds.
And Andrew, what do you think are the biggest sort of risks and opportunities for Kingston on focusing on Mineral Hill now that you've sold Misima?
Yeah, so the biggest opportunity is our current cash flow. We're already producing strong cash flow, operating cash flow. We produced free cash flow for the first time last quarter, and I expect next financial year to be a material free cash flow generation. So that puts us in good stead. So no more cap raisings, which is everyone wants to hear that. So I don't want to keep raising money. Shareholders don't want us to keep raising money. So that's the big opportunity. Gold and copper are our focus. Cracking gold price, right? Who would have thought at 5,000 Aussie dollars, where we are today? It's just brilliant. So we're making good margins. So that's the massive opportunity. What are the risks? Well, we don't have approval risks. We have a full workforce already. We have 140 people on site. We're already open pit mining. We've already refurbished the plant. So everything that we can manage, obviously, we are managing to our best of our ability. Commodity price risk, maybe, but I don't know. Copper feels pretty good here, and copper looks pretty exciting for the next few years as well.
Unreal, Andrew. And I know it hasn't been easy, or I'm sure it hasn't been easy, but this really does feel like such a unicorn transaction in the best gold market right now. It's just so exciting, and I can just see you buzzing there. But talking about the Mineral Hill timeline, okay, so what are the key milestones and timelines for reaching underground copper and gold production at Mineral Hill?
Sure. Look, just on that, what you comment there, this is our transition year. We talk to it in the team. We're talking to our all the way down to our truck drivers on site. Kingston's transition year is 2025, and this is the first step of that transition. So next year is open pit mining, Mineral Hill. This is how people should think about it. 2026 is open pit mining and open pit cash flow, free cash flow. Also, in the middle of financial year 26, so at the moment we're scheduling for February next year, we're going to start the underground. So what does that mean? Copper production starts at the beginning, sort of June, July next year. So let's call that financial year 26, 27. Can't remember at the moment. We're in 25.
Yeah.
Next year's 26. So basically copper production is 12 months away. Gold production for the next 12 months. We've already got 5 years in the underground mine life. The other thing people should be looking for is in the not too distant future is update on our drilling and our drill holes. We are drilling underground. We're very excited about how that looks. So there's a lot more news and a lot more stories to come from Mineral Hill after this Misima transaction.
So interesting, Andrew. And also what's so important for investors to know is that Kingston's Mineral Hill operations or underground mine is actually quite shallow in comparison to mining operations in Cobar. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so our vent shaft bottoms out at 206 metres. We are very shallow. This underground has really, so there's 7 ore bodies that have been mined at Mineral Hill. 6 of them are underground. Now, that's a massive opportunity. They are all still open at depth. They're all still open along strike. There's parallel structures in the footwalls. All of these have got potential of all coming back online. So the underground future at Mineral Hill, I think, is very strong. We're at 5 years at the moment, and we haven't scratched the surface. We've only really started drilling in the last 3 months.
Yeah. So exciting. Okay, now back to the transaction. So talking about the royalty. Okay, so how important is the Misima royalty long term for Kingston, especially with Octedi's buyback option. So, yeah, how is
What should people think about that?
yeah. What's the main value
Well,
driver here?
Well, we want to retain exposure to Missima's production and upside. Now, what it means at the moment is how it's structured is that after we get to a certain production number, they then start paying the royalty. We structured it that way to allow Octedi to finance the project if they needed to. So we're trying to help them get this thing built as fast as they can. Their managing director indicated to me that he would like to be building this thing within 2 years. Now, I think these guys have the ability and they've got the balance sheet to do that. So that's really exciting. The royalty is important because it's uncapped. So we can start getting paid royalties after we hit the 500,000 ounce threshold. And then they still have that buyback right of 25 million after that. So we could, like I said, at spot at the moment, this thing's worth 40 to 50 million, that royalty. But we're being conservative. We're saying it's 25. So that's exciting. It's just nice to know that that's coming down the road, and royalties are very valuable. So we look forward to when they break ground and when they first pour gold.
Unbelievable, Andrew. Now let's talk a little bit about Octedi. How did Kingston come across them? What was the sale process? I mean, Kingston has been announcing a lot about a strategic review process. Can you tell our investors what did that look like and how did you find them?
So we announced the process back in November. It feels like a long time ago now, but it wasn't, and then we really kicked it off in the new year in January. We went to over 140 organisations globally. Octedi was one of them. We approached them. They showed early interest. They knew this process. When they saw this process, they did reach out already, so they were already watching. And it's grown from there, and we've got to know them. And very interestingly, there's a number of our board members that know a lot of the Octedi guys as well. So there was a common history there almost, which helped build the trust and rapport you need to do these transactions. So that's been really good. Argonaut, our advisor, has run a great process. It was extensive and it was global. We've had a lot of people look at the asset, and this is by far the most attractive offer that we think is for shareholders of Kingston and the PNG and the Misima people. So Octedi, who are they? They produce 100,000 tonnes of copper a year, about 250,000 ounces a year on top of that. I think they sold $1.5 billion US of metal last financial year or last calendar year. So they're a very big organisation. They've got a strong balance sheet. They have hundreds of employees. They have the people. They have the financial capability, and they are in country. They have the knowledge.
Yep.
So it's going to be really positive for Missimans, for PNG and for Kingston.
It feels like it was just perfect synergies with Octedi being, an in-country operator.
Absolutely.
Obviously, for them getting the approvals and having those sort of strategic relationships, it makes so much sense for them to have bought this project. But then also Kingston's board having those prior relationships and just having those synergies there makes such a world of difference. But as you said, it feels like it's been a long process since November, but actually you have pulled this off in unbelievable time in such a great market for gold and copper. But mostly.
Absolutely. No, it's fantastic. We have prided ourselves on telling investors what we're going to do and then doing it. We did it with the tailings project at Mineral Hill. We did it the refurbishment at Mineral Hill. We're doing it with the open pits at Mineral Hill. Now we're trying to do that and show that we're delivering value from Misima. So now's the next step. It's onwards and upwards from here for Kingston.
Absolutely, Andrew, and I can fully attest to that, having worked with you and the team for quite a few years now. I'm just so proud of you guys. But now, Andrew, how do you think that this deal will impact the market perception of Kingston? And what is your priority now as the CEO and managing director of Kingston to ensure sustained shareholder returns moving forward?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Where do we go? What do we do? People keep saying that now. So I think over the last 3 or 4 years, we bought Mineral Hill in Jan 22. So 3 years now, 3 and a bit years. There's been some proof in the pudding we've needed to show, get the runs on the board, deliver the cash, show how we're making money. We're now doing that. We needed to unlock the value in Kingston with this Misima transaction. A number of people we talked to didn't see that these two projects fitted together. Copper Gold in New South Wales, big gold project in PNG. So I think that this helps that. We're still getting value for Misima, but now people who can see where we're going with growing a copper gold business in East Coast Australia, they can get on board. So my view is that Mineral Hill's worth a lot more than our market cap today. Misima was definitely worth more than our market cap today. We've shown that. So now it's about generating that and where we go. I'm very focused on free cash flow generation, and that's how we build material long-term shareholder value. We keep showing that Mineral Hill quarter on quarter can generate cash and generate its own growth and support the business to become bigger and better. Would we like to have 2 or 3 mines? Yes, we would. Probably East Coast of Australia. That's sort of our mission, and copper gold. That's very much our focus.
Yeah. Now,
very simple.
Yeah. And Andrew, you're probably going to kill me for asking this question, but can you tell our investors, is there any line of sight for a dividend now that there's cash flow, there's no debt, there's cash flow coming in? Is there any sort of future or line of sight in that? And what is the company's sort of strategy around that?
Yeah, look, it's a board decision, and obviously the board will make that decisions around capital management and dividends in due course. We want to be able to, when Kingston want to be in a position to be able to pay dividends, but sustainable dividends year in, year out, not just a one-off sugar hit. So we need to grow the business and get more longevity. We've got a 6-year mine life. I would have thought if people saw us starting to pay dividends now at a 6-year mine life, they're probably going, are you sure? So let's just shore up our mine life, our cash flow, our revenue generating ability, grow that, and then the dividends will come. I'd love to be in a dividend paying position. I'm a shareholder. I want the dividends too. So trust me, they're a priority, but is now the right time? Is probably not the right. We don't think right now is the right time.
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. And so, of course, the company's focused on reinvesting its capital into resource growth at Mineral Hill, and potentially some strategic acquisitions could be on the table, as what you mentioned before.
We'll be very inquisitive. We've been very good custodians of capital, and we will be with this. So you won't see us going crazy and doing things silly. We'll be very focused on cash flow and cash flow generation, sticking to our gold and copper strategy, sticking to the east coast of Australia is where we think there's a lot of opportunities.
Well, you've got so many options, super well funded now, and so exciting to have so much optionality, but still have that very focused strategy on your copper gold East Coast Australia. Now, Andrew, we're almost running out of time, so I thought I might ask you just one last question, and that is to provide us with 2 or 3 key, investment highlights, if you will, as to why investors should have KSN on their stock watch list.
We are cheap. Our valuation support is there. We've got a very strong balance sheet. We are generating cash, and we are very much focused on gold and copper.
Fantastic. Succinct, to the point. Andrew, thank you so much for taking the time to have this interview. I know it's a super busy period for Kingston. No doubt you have the phone ringing nonstop. But just want to say, super proud of you. So excited to have been along this journey with Kingston for these years, and to see you and the team pull this off. Just really proud and very excited to not only for the company's future, but to also get you back on small caps to hear about, where the company's at and updates.
Thanks, Jess. And look, I really appreciate the help, and well done to you. It's been a good team effort. Thank you.